Hello and welcome back to another edition of O.A.A Atheist. I am James Theodore Stillwell III, and this edition of O.A.A Atheist is more or less just for me to kind of talk about why I do what I do. Why do I debate these religious people? Why do I refute the Trinity? Why do I try to pop these people's bubbles? Why don't I just let them live in their dreamlands? Part of the reason I'm on the air here, part of the reason why I have this channel is to refute myths with fact. And I do that because I love the truth. I've always been a truth seeker, I'd say most of my life. I've never really been much of a shallow person or a person who is pragmatic and just wants to talk about what movie he saw last week or what his favorite CDs are. I remember I used to, in my mid-20s and earlier 20s, I used to sit in Starbucks and listen to people talk about such things, and I wonder about the meaning of life and where did everything come from, and started to get really philosophical. And I think that's when Christianity really started to take a hold of me. Fast forward a little bit, a couple of years later, I began to really get involved in the evangelical community. I began to also do things, reach out to the homeless in my area, and got involved a little bit with the rescue mission and help organize to put on a Thanksgiving dinner. Started to learn more about theology, and came across, I was actually waiting to go to jail, and a Christian friend of mine at the time gave me a book called God Doesn't Believe in Atheists by Ray Comfort, and I read that, and I was sucked into its to what it was teaching. Of course, I now realize that what it is teaching is false. But I want to say that my days as an open-air preacher, there were three people, I think, that affected me the most as an open-air preacher. And the first person that I would like to recognize is Reformed Evangelist himself. I would say he taught me the most about open-air preaching. Then I would say the second person would be the Banana Man, Ray Comfort himself. And the third person, which I think affected my one-on-ones, would be Kirk Cameron. And these people are sincere people. They truly practice what they preach. For the most part, nobody's 100% consistent. But these people sincerely believe what they are telling people. They sincerely believe that what they are preaching is the truth. And that, I think, is one thing that is a commonality between me and these three other people, is that I, here as an atheist, believe that what I am saying is the truth, or I wouldn't have this show. Why is it that I do what I do? Am I just trying to be polemic? Am I just trying to be an atheist a-hole? No. I believe to seek the truth. To ask yourself, is something true? Not, does it offend me, or do I want to believe this, or is it easy to believe, or is it convenient? If something is true, grab it and discard everything else. That's the principle that I live by. Am I always 100% consistent? Am I perfect? No. I've got issues just like the three of these guys. So anyways, I guess the other reason is that I believe that the reason why I do this is that religion, I think, is causes unnecessary divisions. There are so many divisions just inside Christianity itself. You look at the eschatological beliefs. People in Christianity espouse so many variant kinds, and each one of them think they're right. There's controversy even over modes of baptism, sprinkled or immersion, as I mentioned in another video. How should the Lord's Supper be taken? Should it be, should it be open? Should it be closed? Only membership only? Should it be grape juice? Should it be real wine? I mean, there are divisions over the smallest things. And of course, to these people's presupposition, these are not needless because these are theological issues, and to them there is no greater issue than God's truth. Of course, there was an experiment conducted with some children in Palestine, and where they were confronted, would it be moral for someone to drive someone out of their land, to kill them, to kill their donkeys and their asses and their oxen and their children and all these things, just to exterminate these people and drive them out of their land? And the children were like, of course not. This is horrible. This is appalling. Of course not. But then when they added the Lord to it and put it into terms of the context of Joshua, in the book of Joshua, where Joshua is commanded by the Lord to do these very same things, they say, oh no, it's justified because God commands it. And I think that religion creates an unnecessary us and them mentality. I feel that some us and them mentalities are okay, are needed in situation of war, where we have to, like in Nazi Germany, where we were it was us and them, and we were trying to defeat Hitler because he killed 6 million Jews. I think that's an example of a necessary us and them mentality. But religion creates unnecessary us and them mentality. Look at the people who crashed planes into the World Trade Center. To them, their religion pretty much dehumanized and demonized the people they were trying to kill with those planes. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to justify it in their minds. So I do believe that religion can be dangerous. Do I feel that all religious people are dangerous? Of course not. That's ridiculous. A lot of people like to point out that Hitler was an atheist, but he wasn't. I could read to you quotes that he professes to be a Catholic. Now, I don't think that has to do with anything. The fact that he was a Catholic has to do with his beliefs. I think that he was actually just somebody who used these things. He was basically an opportunist and used it to gain power and to deceive people in order to gain that power to institute his totalitarian goals. So with that said, I just thought I'd give you a little bit of insight to how I think and why I do this, and my motives. So with that said, till next time, take it easy, folks.